So in this video, we're continuing lesson 7.6, but we're going to talk about horizontal shifts. So similarly to vertical shifts, we're going to kind of explore what happens, the notation and everything like that. So we're given f of x is x squared. So it's the same graph we started with last time. So if you need to, plug it in your calculator. Or if you remember the point, you can do it that way too. So that is x squared. And that said, if I want to shift the parabola to the left 2 units, I can write that as y equals f of x plus 2 in the parentheses, or it can be written as y equals x plus 2 squared. So the key to horizontal shifts is the addition, or whatever you're moving it, is written inside the parentheses. So it says on the graph to the right, graph f of x and y equals f of x plus 2. So I'm going to type this because this is the equation in standard form in my graphing calculator and see what it happens. So this is just putting x or plus 2 inside the parentheses when you graph it. So it looks like that. And then you'll see it looks like that. So when I graph that, I'm going to graph it in a different color. Negative 2, 0 is here. And I got the 1. And you'll notice every point is just shifted over 2 spots. Wait, this point here, I'm sorry. So it looks like this. And what's kind of different about horizontal shifts is you'll notice that we added 2, but this shifted left. Which was in the opposite direction. So in horizontal shifts, remember just like when we did vertical or the vertex form of a quadratic, you're always moving in the opposite direction of the sign. So usually in positive, we would move to the right because these are all the positive values on the x-axis, but instead we move the opposite way, which is to the left. Okay, so on the practice down here, you are just going to graph both these absolute values. You'll see that it shifts. This will shift right. This will shift left. And you'll notice that anytime it shifts right or left, the thing it shifts is inside the absolute value, it's inside the parentheses, or it's underneath the radical. Okay, so you'll just do those two graphing in your graphing calculator. You'll do those. You'll do these two. So you'll see that the negative 4 is with the x in the exponent. And then you'll also see this, which is in vertex form, right? We know the vertex will now be negative 5, negative 8, but it will shift up and down also. And so this also says, hey, I'm taking this, I'm shifting it to the left 5 and down 8, which tells you what the vertex is. So you're going to graph both of those, tell me the shift, and then once you're done with that, so pause the video now and do that, and then we'll talk about the rule. Okay, so the horizontal rule is anytime a number is being added or subtracted, inside the parentheses, the absolute value sign or the square root symbol, the graph shifts left or right. Okay, and so it says let f of x equal x squared and g of x equal f of x minus 2. That means you're going to take the original graph and shift it to the right 2 units. So this is opposite. So g of x in standard form can now be written by adding the negative 2 inside the x squared. So instead of writing it on the end like we did with vertical shifts, it'll be written right next to the x, and you can put parentheses around it. So in the problems below, you're doing the same type of thing we did in the vertical, but now horizontal. So this tells me I have a horizontal shift to the right, so right 6 units. So I'm going to put this, when I look at my original equation, I'm going to just take that and I'm going to put the negative 6 with the x and square it. And the shift is right 6. And you can double check that that's that if you plug this in your graphing calculator for, you could call it g of x or you could call it y, that this shifts to the right 6 times, or this shifts to the right 6 times. Okay. And so you'll do the same with this, and you'll notice that these will all be written inside the absolute value or underneath the radical there. And so your job for this shift is just to finish up to here, just finish up to number 7 on the next page. And when you get to narrower or wider, you're going to watch the next video. So this will be the third part of this lesson.